Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here this week with Ben, and alongside me, I have Kirk.
Hello.
It's not often that you're introduced first, Kirk.
Yeah, I know.
And also, we have an honorary member of the Grumpy Gamers, and that's Donnie.
Hello.
Woo! Back once
Eddie.
again.
I know. To be fair, I was more impressed that Kirk was on 2 weeks in a row rather than him name first.
I know. The thing is, we said to Kirk last week, we discussed that Eddie and Pete weren't going to be on, and Kirk just said, like, you kind of need me to be on, don't you?
Well, you kind of do. Obviously, it's just going to be a two-man show with you and Donnie. It's not really,
He was looking for an out immediately. I loved it.
Busy boy. I'm a busy boy.
2 weeks. Oh, Christ.
It would literally just been like our Twitch stream from Thursday night, Ben. That's what it would have been.
Yeah, exactly. So we did stream on Thursday night. We streamed over on Pure Dead Gaming, and we did Diablo 4, and that went pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, a nice 6-hour marathon. It was.
Gonna say, I saw over socials that it was like, right, we're doing this, and then it was like, yep, we're still doing this.
Yep.
Oh man, time just fucking flies, isn't it?
In Diablo, it does. Yeah, you do a few dungeons back to back, and before you know it, you're like, what time is it? It's 2 in the morning. Jesus.
Yeah. Exactly. It was like, and I was saying to Pete the other day, I was like, probably wouldn't have stopped if it weren't like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason to stop, and then I didn't sleep for like an hour and a half afterwards.
Because you're dreaming about demons again.
Yeah, exactly. I was in bed and I was just like, why am I fucking thinking about Diablo? Stop thinking.
You've got, how many hours have you put into it now, Ben?
I think so. Yesterday I was at 104, 105, and we played a few hours today, Donnie, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm in the 60s. I do have work, Ben, and sleep time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've put a shift in. I must admit, it's all for me. Well, spoiler alert. We'll talk about it later. But it's all I'm playing at the moment, and it's been a wild ride so far.
It has. We'll move on to that later in what we've been playing. But before that, we're going to do the news. We'll do the new releases, which Kirk is leading for us this week, aren't you? Because there's no Eddie.
I am making no promises that this is going to go well. I'm almost certain it's going to go shit, but I have done prep, and I did prep more than 5 minutes before the podcast, unlike Eddie, so I might have a fighting chance.
Kirk, I'll let you in on a little secret.
Go on.
If it goes well, I'll be furious.
Okay, well, you prepare to be happy, I guess?
Yes, yeah, I think so. So we're all looking forward to that one. And then we're on to what we've been playing, which, yes, there's Diablo 4, and Donnie's opinion on that one. And also, we've played Final Fantasy XVI's demo. So
spoilers.
We'll be talking about that because, spoilers on that.
Yes.
Because, it's pretty good. So we'll get into that one. Then our feature, because all three of us have PlayStations, which is a rarity on this podcast.
That is a rarity.
It is a bloody rarity. And Kirk, you were the one that said it. You're like, well, let's do something PlayStation focused a bit.
Yeah.
So we are going to be talking about PlayStation exclusive games that have surprised us in the past, both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So look forward to that one. But let's move on to the quick news then. Popular shooter Valorant, that's going to get a team deathmatch mode on the 27th of June. Never played it myself, but it's supposed to be a good game. Valheim is getting a hard and an easy mode.
Oh, that's perfect for you.
Well, the trees did kill me a few times, yeah.
It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame that we can't recall the stories that you had with Eddie and Pete on this game.
Yeah, we had quite a few stories, actually. They weren't all good.
No.
Most involved me dying, so yeah.
Easy mode, here I come.
Easy mode, baby. And now it's on console, and it's on Game Pass, isn't it?
Yes. About 2 months ago, I think, wasn't it?
No excuses. It's that game that Pete and Eddie say that looks beautiful when it clearly doesn't. But just thought I'd put that in there for when Eddie listens to this podcast, just to rile him up a little bit. Flintlock, it's been delayed to 2024, if anyone cared.
Well, it happens. Delays happen.
They happen all the fucking time now, don't they?
They do. It's important.
More often than not, I'd say.
Yeah.
Still blaming that COVID.
Yep, absolutely. Fucking COVID. Next one. Significant majority of Diablo 4 players haven't finished the campaign, supposedly. That was news coming out of Blizzard this week, so people are obviously taking their time. They've improved the XP gain from endgame nightmare dungeons to move people over to that content and trying to push people to complete the game, I think, and they've nerfed the XP from the normal dungeons. So if you were trying to just farm the old normal dungeons to get your level up, well, once you hit that level cap of 50, it's it doesn't give you an awful lot. So
Nope.
moving on to the end game, they're trying to make people do. But it's interesting because Diablo 4's had such a strong launch. But and it's almost like, because you've got people like us who have just motored through it and motored through the campaign. It is a really long campaign. If you're doing a lot of side stuff in this game, it could be a 35-hour campaign.
Yeah, especially if you are doing actual side quests as well. I think someone said that if you beeline the campaign, which we didn't do until the end, but I think it's about 15-ish hours, I think. But me and you and a few of the guys actually in our clan got to the point where they were approaching that level 50. No, it's not a cap as we found out, but we still had so much content or so much of the campaign to do. We just thought, we have to just beeline this now and get it done to take the pressure off,
Yeah, it's like we were enjoying the game so much because this co-op kind of approach to it is so good. But you do gain a lot of levels and a lot of XP by playing these dungeons with co-op during when you're enjoying the campaign. And we were approaching what we thought at the time was like a hard cap limit of level 50, and we just had to beeline that campaign to get it done, didn't we? But it's not the ideal way of playing it, and if you are just playing it for the campaign and enjoying it, and then probably going to give up the game after that, then just take your time with it, because it's it's a good old story as well.
Yeah, the campaign's fantastic, and some of the side quests are great, and some of them are really quick. It looks like there's a lot. It's quite daunting. It's almost quite Ubisoft-ish in that sometimes you can see actually a lot of map indicators, like, it's quite a lot, but some of them are very, very quick. Some of them are very quick fetch ones, some are a bit more detailed, but they're all really good as well. So yeah, take it and enjoy it. You don't have to do the end game stuff. They keep saying the sort of casual players that are new to it probably won't, so.
Yeah, well, it was definitely my approach to Diablo 3. I took it all in and I was paying attention to the story loads because I didn't really understand the endgame process when I first played Diablo 3. So you almost wish that you took in a lot of the side stuff. But me, I'm just clicking through, just try and get it done quickly to move to the endgame. But it's, different people play it in different ways. So, so there you go. The Callisto Protocol, we know how much you love that game, Donny. Callisto Protocol, it's getting its DLC final chapter, which I don't think is the final chapter, but it's called Final Transmission. It's coming out on the 29th of June, but PlayStation players get it 48 hours earlier on the 27th of June. So
throw them in the fucking bin. Come on, they're just competitor advantage.
Good old marketing. Huh?
I know, right? I was not a fan. I was not.
No, you weren't, were you?
No, I was not. I had to sell it, even though my friend bought it for me.
Oh, that is fucking low, Kirk.
Wow. Hey, it's okay. I told him. Wow. He's the one that had the PSVR 2, and I told him that I sold it, and he said, "That's fine. Totally understand. If it's not your thing."
That makes it better. If you do something shit and then tell people that you've done it, does that make it less shit?
Yeah, pretty much, because it takes the guilt away from you. So.
Your guilt,
right? Your guilt, right?
That's how life works, right?
The action itself is objectively still shit. What did you expect? He couldn't then go, "Oh, you're a cunt." He's got to say that's okay.
Oh no, he definitely could have said that, but he's not that way inclined. He's not like you, so.
I'm surprised he didn't ask you for the money. But like, give me my 30 quid.
That's exactly what I would have done.
30 quid. It was when it came out. It was 45.
How much did you get for it? Trading it in?
About 30 quid.
There it is.
Fucking you villain. You absolute villain.
Yeah.
Hey, it was not a frame. Sorry, it was not a game I was going to frame. So,
did you finish the game?
No, I did not. I got about
get that far.
No, I got about halfway.
Fucking 8 hours long, Kurt. What?
I got about halfway through, and it was the bit where you're running over like the high rise walks in the dome area. I was just like, I can't be asked for this anymore. So
yeah, I struggled. Even though it was so short, I'm like, I can't wait for this to finish.
Yeah.
You guys, you don't know what fucking Planet
We like good games, all right? That's what we like.
Kirk, you are no judge of anything. You haven't played fucking anything for years.
That is true. I cannot argue with that, unfortunately.
I'd accept Donnie's opinion if he agreed with me.
Of course. Oh, right, okay. You wanker. Right, got it.
All right, and lastly on the quick news, the FTC have succeeded in blocking the Microsoft Activision deal for now with its injunction requests that we talked about last week. So it's now going to the federal court. Microsoft have publicly welcomed that, and they think it's going to accelerate the process, or at least they're saying that it's going to accelerate the process. So watch this space again. It's just moving forward. And,
yes, the quicker this concludes, either way, yes or no, the better.
Yeah.
So
we
we all welcome this news to bring it forward and get a decision.
Yep, lovely old job. And I think Microsoft, I genuinely think Microsoft probably think exactly the same thing. We just want this one way or the other. Move on.
Yeah.
Move on. So do Activision. So anyway, that's the quick news. Kirk, what have you got for us?
Well, I've got a big fucking loud train going by right now, so apologies to listeners, because it's always when it comes to me, the timing is just impeccable with these fucking trains, man. I swear.
And we've got windows open because
it's
so
fucking scorching
fucking
again
hot.
in the UK. Yeah,
fucking heat, man. But yeah,
So-
we've got windows open.
yeah. So Starfield has had a tech breakdown by Digital Foundry. So this was John Linneman and Alex Baltiga. I believe that's how you say his surname.
Battaglia, is it? I thought.
What?
Battaglia? I also...
No. You don't pronounce it the way you see it there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he might be German, possibly.
Kirk, just move yourself on. I reckon.
Anyway, I'm going to call him Baltiga. Sorry, Alex, if you ever listen to this. I know you won't because you're more.
I heard he's a big
popular
fan.
almost 100% not his name.
Cool. Right. So the two guys over at Digital Foundry have done a deep dive on the 45-minute Starfield presentation and they covered various aspects of what we all saw. So first and foremost is they went in on the 30 FPS cap that there has been confirmed by Todd Howard. So behave. So it's a design decision, they've said, based on the sheer scale of the game because of its item permanence, AI, simulation, and many interlocking systems that then add up to create this massive immersive experience. All of this put together basically puts a lot of demand on the CPU, and contrary to what non-developers may say, by the way, I put non-developers, that's me saying that. Basically, you can't just drop the resolution to increase the frames per second by a huge amount. You can get a slight increase, but basically it's not worth it for the trade-offs. So one scene from the trailer where they made a note of the pixel count, it was actually 1296p, which is 60% of 4K. And this is because many AAA games actually run at sub 4K and instead are scaled up with FSR2 or other techniques. Don't ask me what FSR2 means. I was going to Google it, couldn't be fucked, and just moved on.
Just on that point, Kirk. I mean, I think Donnie, you were saying this week. You said like Starfield isn't native 4K. Is that what you were referring to when you were telling me about that?
Yes, that's exactly it. Which I think is ironic, saying they're saying that we can't drop the resolution to increase the FPS. Well, obviously, when it's only 1296, there's not much lower it can go.
There's not much room for maneuver, is there?
Nope.
Yeah, not much room for maneuver.
It's like well, then it's what techniques are they using to upscale it to 4K, and what's the actual cost on the system or the brains of the system, along with all the other stuff that's going on, isn't it? So there has to be a trade-off somewhere. So anyway, they spoke about other improvements, which included rendering techniques that include real-time global illumination, reflections, and motion blur, which all add up to what John described as Bethesda's first truly beautiful game. Any thoughts on that?
Bit harsh for the previous guys that have worked in these games. Oh, thanks very much. I was proud of my beautiful game before. Cheers, John.
Yeah, and actually, back at the time when they were produced, they were pretty damn good looking.
Bit harsh.
I think this is the one question I've got on Starfield is I can buy all this stuff. I'm not a developer, so I wouldn't know. But it's just by the sounds of what they're saying, they're just saying like the game is too big and too expansive for us to have done it better than this for the performance to have been better, etc. So, and I'm not saying the performance is bad. I haven't seen it. Blah blah blah. We've only seen what we've been shown, but it's things like the frame rate. They're very much leaning heavily into the kind of like it's not possible camp. Yeah. I'm just wondering if they came out like in 6 months later and just said, "Oh, here's a 60 frames mode." You'd be like, "Oh, right." So it was perfectly possible.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think they will.
Well, Todd Howard did say that at times it does run at 60. It's just very, very unstable. So it's not as if it doesn't. Yeah. There is obviously a part of it that's above 30. The bit that's annoying me, forgetting the fact that it's not 60, which is pissing me off anyway. So forgetting that, and we'll move on. It's the fact that, like, Todd Howard sat there and said, we're doing it at 30 because it's about the fidelity. Right, he kept saying it's about the fidelity, it's about the visuals, and then now you're telling me it's not native 4K. Well, fucking hell! So it's neither. Then it's neither. Well, so we're not getting the performance.
They are upscaling.
Well, they are. That's the thing. They have to be. That's what Digital Foundry is saying. It's been upscaled from, like I said, 1296, so basically 2K.
Yes, but I think this adds more weight to what he's saying, though. I'm going the other way. I have cut you up. I'm sorry, but like, okay. I think it almost adds the weight, because if they were saying, okay, if it was running it better than that, like say if it was 1440 or if it was higher, but nearer the actual proper resolution, then you'd be like, okay, well, there is trade-off that could be made. You could do something. Maybe there's a bit of optimization, but basically they're already upscaling to 4K. Yeah. And to get that resolution, they haven't got, you said it earlier, like they haven't got the room for maneuver. They can't cut back. So I think it's just leaning even more heavily into what they're saying.
I think it's just the fact that they've not even managed to build it as completely 4K. That's a thing. That, for me, I'm just like, well, so what have you made then?
Well,
is it massive? Is it, they are talking about it in these ways that I haven't heard anyone speak about a game before.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot going on, and we're going to find out in a couple of months anyway, and all these thoughts are we're just looking at it on face value, and that's all we can do right this moment. So, but basically, just going back to the story, one of the things that the guys did point out as a disappointment was the rendering of characters, and especially animations during dialogue sequences, where they basically said it all looks a bit flat and doesn't present much in the way of emotion, like an uncanny valley sort of feeling, which when you compare it to other AAA games, look at your Last of Us's and your Horizons that have got great motion capture kind of animations, there is a stark difference there. But then this also folds back into, this is a very, very big, expansive game, and this is just one of the other kind of trade-offs that you have to kind of deal with, because nothing is going to be able to be 100% on everything,
Yeah, so, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, you look at something like The Last of Us, which I think is absolutely wonderful, especially with its facial animations and all that kind of stuff. That is the immersion. The whole immersion with The Last of Us and Last of Us 2 is the storytelling and are the characters and all that kind of stuff. The immersion, it would appear, in something like Starfield, it is in its gravitas and its size, it's
everything
the scale
that goes around it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the shipbuilding, the stuff like that. It seems like they're plugging more of that side of it, and I even seen from what we've seen in terms of the videos that that is a thing that we're already witnessing, like that kind of like the facial animations and or like the way the character interacts, and it'll be that standard, like you speak to somebody and then they'll be right in front of you in center frame and then 4 options below and all that kind of nonsense, which I thought we got past. I thought Disco Elysium had set a new standard, and we're just fucking old trope again and again. But anyway, that's another.
Yeah, that's just Bethesda, the wooden characters, isn't it? We expect that, though. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's just their thing.
you can't take that out of their games, because that is their games. But,
yeah, that's not where they put their time. The bit that
Bethesda, I was going to say, Bethesda like to double down on things, don't they? So
yeah. The things that, obviously, speaking about other things they double down on, the bit that I don't like is, now it'd be interesting to know how much things like this item, how do they call it? Item permanence, isn't it? Is the description of item permanence? How much that actually takes up? Because I find that shit. I find that quite immersion breaking, because I'm like, they say things like, oh, if you pick up a cup and you drop it on the ground, that cup will always be there. And I'm like, what, do the ships not have cleaners then? Like, I find it really unrealistic. Like, if I leave my cup out on the breakfast bar, right, and I thought, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm not moving that. My missus will move it, and she'll be fucking raging she's got to do it. Now, I just feel as though, like, you leave they say, you leave a door open, it'll always be open. Well, all right, so no one else goes around this ship closing doors then. Like, I just think so, like, it seems like they're giving up a lot to put this little feature in that's not actually realistic.
It's a good fucking point, to be honest.
It's a good point, but I guarantee you there'll be some great stories that come from this as well. I know. The way you just described it makes it, I can just imagine the good of that as well. Like, you're looking at it from a negative point of view, I'm looking at it from the positive side of it.
Well, it might also be the permanence of character interaction, not necessarily your character. So let's say doors on the ship or something, and the life on the ship might be moving around you whilst you're there, and as that happens, whatever permanence happens at that time interacts with the environment, and that stays until the next time you're there or something like that.
And I was going to say as well, I find it quite immersion breaking whenever you go on, when you've been in an area and you've cleared it out, and then you go back in and it's all kind of reset. I don't like that. That is what is immersion breaking. I've said before that I love seeing how long snow tracks stay before they start like respawning.
Yes.
Like if this is that kind of thing, and like you go across a sand dune or something, walk across it, go back to another kind of planet or something, come back maybe like, you know, a week later, it might have gone over a bit, but it'll still be there. Like that's the kind of thing that I'm envisioning. That makes it feel more real.
You must have been furious with God of War Ragnarok.
I was. But absolutely furious. Every time.
Yeah, like every 5 seconds, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It looks so realistic, but it just didn't stay.
It does. Yeah,
For that half a second, it looked amazing.
But yeah, anyway, we ain't got long to look forward to it all now, and we can get all these kind of things out in the air, and I'm sure it'll be dissected through a fucking inch of its life.
It is going to be.
Oh yeah, for rightly and wrongly, because people will be interested for the right reasons, but because it's Microsoft's most important project in years, it's going to be heavily scrutinized. But let's wait and see. I'm sure Donnie will be there day one with the pitchforks on the frame rate and see what happens.
Yeah, indeed. Apologies, by the way, to anyone who can hear my audio and can hear the teenage neighbour with his little small dick car and his fucking exhaust driving past loud as hell.
That's what that was it?
Man. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, noisy as fuck.
We've all got it because we've all got the windows
God.
open. Like, yes, but now they can't tell who's making the noise, so that's fine.
Ridiculous.
Right. Do you want to move us on, Donnie?
Yeah, so in the last week, Sony's kind of doubled down on not looking to put new first-party games on the PS Plus system or PS Plus service. They're obviously very confident in their current PS Plus strategy, and there's no plans to change it right now. Speaking with GamesIndustry.biz, PlayStation's head of subscriptions, Nick Maguire, said putting games onto the service a bit later in the life cycle is not working for Sony. Therefore, this will continue to be its strategy moving forward. We're happy with the strategy, Maguire told the publication. Putting games in a bit later in the life cycle meant we can reach more customers 12, 18, 24 months after they have released. He goes on to say, occasionally there'll be an opportunity to invest in day and date like Stray, and we'll jump on those to come to us. But for us, letting those first party games go out to the platform outside of the service first, that's working and will continue to be our strategy moving forward. Hardly a surprise, given the success of first party sales. Consistently every year, PlayStation sold 43 million units last year. I don't think there's any pressure to change what is clearly working from a sales standpoint and commitment standpoint from PlayStation fans. Jim Ryan, about a year ago, he kind of spoke about what he called a virtuous cycle, where he said that, game quality would suffer as the level of investment would not be possible should they put games day and date. Certainly obviously the first party AAA stuff. And it's hard to argue when obviously we look at some of the, Redfall, looking at you as a comparison. So I think it's working definitely at the moment. No plans to change it. I don't see this changing anytime soon, unless unless the Game Pass thing over the next sort of 3 to 5 years really starts to kick in, which may coincide with the ABK deal, it could force PlayStation to change strategy. You never know, but at the moment they are very, very happy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way
Correct,
it is at the end of the day,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So
and the thing
there's
is,
no need for them to.
Correct, yeah. And listen, but things change quickly, I've often said, I think back to, it wasn't that long ago we all bought CDs. It wasn't that long ago we bought DVDs. Like things do move fast in media, especially with technology and services and kind of moving into this more cloud future. So I don't believe we'll still be sitting here in 10 years' time having that same conversation. I think things will slightly amend, but certainly in the medium term, no plans to. And quite right. And it's good. Listen, I know I've often said that I would like to see a little bit more of the day and date stuff. From, for example, Maguire mentioned Stray. There was Chia back in about Marchy time.
Yeah, there was.
I would like to say that a little bit more, because at the moment, the PS Plus premium bit is lacking. The extra's by far the best value. I know, obviously, we've got the announcement that the cloud gaming is coming soon for PS5 games on premium, but I'd like to see a little bit more, and I do think they could just do a bit more, and maybe once a quarter have a sort of AA game on there that's cost, a couple of $10 million, whatever, and just, be nice to see that, I must admit. But
I think, day and date would be good. I think, day and date for some games, I think it would be actually a crying shame for games like the new games that come from Sony first party to go onto their service day and date, because they spend so much money on those games. I think a lot more than Microsoft has spent on the stuff that they've been putting out. Or lack thereof, but the smaller things that they've been putting out, but things that have clearly been fed into the Game Pass kind of machine. Sony invests so heavily, and they produce games of a standard, of a single-player standard, a narrative-driven standard, that are some of the best third-party or otherwise, that they are the best games out there. And I think it would devalue them if they are putting it there, and I don't think they get the return, and then eventually you just wouldn't get the games being made. It's exactly what you were saying, Donnie, in terms of what Jim Ryan was saying. Like, you can't get the return on the investment then, and so you just wouldn't get those games. And I think that would be such a shame. I would like a bit more of the Forbidden West approach, and I don't know whether the Forbidden West approach of putting it on like a year later onto the service was because they wanted the game to get to more people while it was still relevant and it wasn't selling fantastically at that time, or whether it was just something they could repeat with other titles. But like a year later would be really great.
Test in the market, see what happens, kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see it happening. What I could see happening is that day and date PC release thing. I still think the 2 year thing is definitely working. It'll be interesting to see how well Ratchet and Clank sells, to be fair. Obviously it's not, it's a niche game that anyway. It is, but it's also
interesting.
Old. It's old now. Like, I think PlayStation putting their own launcher out there so they don't have to play Steam, they don't have to pay anyone else. PlayStation putting a PC launcher out there, putting their games day and date on PC makes sense. Only if they've got their own launcher. Not if they have to put it through Steam or anything like that. But if they're making plans for their own launcher, which would seem a reasonable assumption.
Yes.
That would be the way to do it. Because you say Ratchet and Clank, and yeah, that's nice, but who's going to buy that? Like, who's buying that?
I reckon there'd be a lot. I think more than you think.
You'd be surprised. Especially with that performance level, I think you'd be surprised. It's a beautiful game, Rift Apart. It's a fantastic game.
It's a lovely looking game. I played it. I completed it. I'm not going out recommending it to anyone.
Oh, would you not?
Not setting the world alight. It's fine.
I'm currently playing it.
I think it's fantastic. Yeah. Yep. I was watching I downloaded it from my boy last weekend, and I'm like, I want to play this again.
yeah, but that you made a point there. You downloaded it for your boy. They ain't playing it on fucking 140 frames on PC. Like, it's not the market to be buying it for PC, I wouldn't have thought. I just don't know. I'd be interested to see how it sells. Yeah, I'd be interested.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. My story, it's about Spider-Man 2, actually. And the different editions of Spider-Man 2 that have gone on sale already. Specifically, the digital deluxe and the collector's edition, and that they supposedly contain extra skill points if you buy those editions. So the different versions that you can get, the digital deluxe edition, that gets you the base game. It gets you 10 additional suits, 5 for Peter and 5 for Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. You get additional photo mode items. Don't know really what that means.
Like stickers and filters.
And 2 additional skill points. And it will cost around £80. There was confusion over the weekend, and I don't know if you saw it, Donnie, because you were away, but there was a lot of confusion over the weekend that people thought that photo mode was then exclusive to these versions, but that isn't true. I don't think that's true at all.
It was poorly worded on the graphics and stuff, wasn't it? So
yeah, exactly. So photo mode is in every version of the game, but a lot of people do love photo mode. If you are a CGI photo mode lover, then this is the type of game for you, because it's a fucking stunning looking game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there are a few things being held back behind these editions. The collector's edition, then, it costs a fucking monstrous £220. It includes a download code for the game, a steelbook display case,
great.
And you love your steelbooks.
No. I mean, great, because there's no fucking disc in there.
That's fine.
No, it's not fine. Why would you Why would you give a steelbook without a? Do you know what? Don't worry.
Well, I'll yeah, okay. It also contains a 19-inch statue of Spider-Man and Miles Morales and Venom, which I think does it pretty cool. And if you think this is worth it to you, then fair play, because that statue's pretty cool. I'm not one of these that thinks necessarily that you should have a game in the collector's edition, because it would put the price up too much. I think that you'll be able to buy this for about 15 quid in a couple of years, and you can just buy it then and then stick it in your case. But otherwise, the case is what matters.
That's not how collectors look at it. It's called
that is how they're going to have to look at it, because that's how it happens with every single game now.
Yes, well, actually, it's what happens with every single first-party PlayStation game as of late. They did it with Ragnarok. They did it with Horizon as well. Final Fantasy 16 hasn't, though.
It's only Final Fantasy that I know of that has not done this in recent years, though. Do we know anything else?
Not off the top of my head.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there might be others, but yeah, I put you on the spot there. But sorry,
you fucking snake.
You're never gonna fucking know that. But I only did it because you wouldn't know. But yeah, like I always thought, like you get the collector's edition, and then if you buy the game later on when it's cheaper, because that stuff is what you're buying it for. When Ragnarok came out, I did think it was weird, because it was just then like, because that was only last year or whatever, but it was kind of like, oh, that's odd. But now it's like fucking commonplace, isn't it?
Yeah. Just because obviously they're all made up early and designed and boxed and just ready to ship. It's not as if they're being made the week before the game. I get it. I understand why. I also understand why people don't like it. I see both sides. I ain't buying a £220 fucking monster collector anyway. I've never bought one. Some of them look nice. The Ragnarok one, which I know that you've got, is fantastic, but I ain't buying them. So I'm not bothered, but I do see both sides.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to buy it, because the thing that they're giving you is worth a tenner, but it's just that
It's worth a
tenner.
I mean,
well, it is
depends,
though, isn't it?
It depends on what your.
It's cost them £2.50 to produce.
Yeah,
it's not
cost them £2.50, but if you, Jesus Christ.
No, but if it's worth it to you, then it's worth it to you, and if you can resell it, then it's got the value. It's just in my head. It's hard to get around.
Yes, I understand that, and you are someone that likes to crunch numbers, so I totally get where you're coming from. But like you said, value matters. But on another note, the collector's edition, as of today, for Spider-Man is still available to buy from Sony Direct.
Is it? I thought it'd be sold out, and I thought it'd be on eBay for 400 quid or something.
No, it's still available to buy at least on the UK PlayStation Store. So
they must have made a lot of them then, I'm guessing, because the Ragnarok one sold out basically instantly.
It did, didn't it?
And obviously Spider-Man's got not a much bigger hook, but it has got a bigger hook. So they must have made a lot of these. Yeah.
Yeah, is Spider-Man bigger than God of War?
Oh god, yeah.
It would
God,
be.
yeah.
It's the IP, isn't it? So
Yeah,
I suppose it does pull more in. Yeah, I think all these collector's editions, I like. If they were reasonably priced, I'd be all over them.
Yeah.
But it's one of those items which it almost becomes something more exclusive because of how expensive it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's literally it. And then some people buy these things and don't open them so that they can have them for the future, like that Starfield one from last week, the Constellation version. I literally know people who have messaged me saying I'm buying 2 of these, one to open and one to keep sealed because it will hold some value for the future. So,
yeah, but hold what value? Hold value? What's it fucking...
I don't know, mate. It's something that people do.
Donnie and it's really interesting. Donnie and I were actually discussing this earlier, like, just invest your money properly if you're going to invest. Don't fucking buy that to think that it's going up in value. If you think that's going up in value, it might go up in value, but put it in a real investment. don't put it in a fucking...
That's easier said than done, buddy. So... Well,
Sorry?
next time I come and see you, we're going to have a chat about where I can invest my money, all right?
Okay, we can do that, Kurt. We can do that. You know our group of friends would fucking be all over that. Right, but lastly on this story, if you pre-order the game, you unlock the web grabber early, and you get 3 additional skill points on top of this. So what I was kind of thinking when I was reading this, and it wasn't really made up in this, it wasn't really pointed out in this article that I was reading, but isn't that fucking weird that you get in-game skill points and you get the web grammar early? Like, that's not cosmetic stuff. That's actually affecting the gameplay, presumably.
Yeah. It's not that new doing this, but for me, it's starting to encroach a little bit into the pay to win. Now it's only a few skill points. There are plenty. You're talking you're talking about an hour saving here. It's just a little bonus, reward. But I don't really like this. I think the outfits and cosmetics should be enough. Even the web grabber thing's fine. And if you start the game with a better gun, again, that's not new in deluxe editions.
Yeah.
The skill point thing is teetering on that edge of hang on here a little bit. And I'm not loving that.
I know it's single player, so it's not like
correct. It's single player.
But so that's one thing. But also, I would like to know that, let's say there were an arbitrary 20 skill points in the game. Are you just getting 3 to 5 of them early, but you can still only get to the max 20? Or,
yes, that's all.
Everyone gets to the right. Yes. Because then if everyone gets to the end point, then that's fine. It's just it's weirdly worded. I just think it's just a weird thing to be doing. And also, if you're balls deep into Spider-Man, if you're fucking all in, I don't want that. I want to play the game how you've designed the game. I don't want these fucking... Can you turn them off? I don't want the fucking skill points.
No, they'll just be in your skill inventory.
Just let me play the fucking game normally.
Yeah, I'm sure there was 50. I think it was 50 skill points in the first one. I may be lying at that. So there's plenty, and you'll hit them
from
quickly.
this, because you get 3 at the end, and you get 2 for getting one of these editions. You get 5 points. So if it's 50 in the first one, you're getting 10% of the points up front.
If you buy the 250 quid one, you get the extra ones, don't you? But the deluxe, I think the deluxe is just 2, isn't it? 2 skill points.
Yes, the deluxe gets 2, but if you pre-order the deluxe, you get all 5, I think. But anyway.
There we go.
Regardless, it seems weird.
It's teetering on that edge for me that I'm not loving, Yeah,
any of those additions interest either of you two? I mean, obviously not the 220, I think we just discussed that, but I don't think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck for the £80 one. You're getting a few different skins, but you basically choose the coolest looking one. You just stick to that.
Yeah.
So I don't care that there's 10 of them. Yeah. And additional photo mode items, I don't give a fuck about photo mode. So that's me as well. So it just seems a bit, you're paying a tenner for nothing.
You're a ray of sunshine, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I think the tenner's fine. The 10 skins, a lot of them look really cool. I love photo mode. To be fair, I don't put a lot of stickers now, because usually it's like stickers or filters, which I don't really do a lot of, but that doesn't bother me. I think for a tenner, it's fine. There's a lot of them out there, no names mentioned, but those deluxe editions are 20, 30 quid, and you get 3 fucking skins. 3 first-person shooter skins, by the way. So, I think for the sake of a tenner, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, and I suppose when you take a photo in photo mode, it looks fucking nothing like the real game anyway. So adding some additional photo mode items on top would just make it even more like a different game and not real. So fair enough. Okay, cool. Right, that's the news this week.
Right, shall I take us on to what we've all been waiting for?
Much anticipated.
Jesus Christ. I'm not looking forward to this. I expect phlegm build up as well because I got to reenact Eddie, haven't I? Like, just like, my throat. Yeah, okay.
You got to.
So, okay, here we go. I don't even know how you pronounce this game. Apico? Is it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Apico.
lovely.
Coming out on Xbox Series X and Xbox One, and I'm presuming Xbox Series S as well. Apico is a laid-back beekeeper sim game about breeding, collecting, and conserving bees. Leave your boring city job behind to return to your family home in Port Apico and get back to your beekeeping roots. Set in a series of lush environments, Apico uniquely, see I'm fucking it up already, combines...
You're not. You're doing great, Kurt.
Don't give me that false fucking positivity, Ben.
Come on, champ. You're great.
Come on, buddy. Apico uniquely combines resource gathering, biology, and beekeeping mini-games, taking ideas from a mix of real life and fantasy, fucking hell, apiculture and floriculture.
Yeah, lovely.
On your journey, you'll rediscover lost species, crossbreed new bees, and help repopulate the islands. So, this is a game that it seemed very relaxing, mellow music. Basically, you kind of look after bees. It's very much like a Pokemon style looking game from the Game Boy era. Might be something that you want to do whilst you're doing something else, like watching a TV show. And as Eddie would say, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
We need to save the bees. I don't know if we're going to save them in a digital form, but we need to save the bees.
Yeah, I'm not about the old flying demon, so this type
The
of...
wasps
this
are the
It's the
flying
wasps,
demon.
that's the flying demon. Yeah,
not the
bees
bees.
don't
We've
want
got-
anything to do with you, mate.
Yeah.
No, and I do accept that, but it's a short jump from one to the other.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
Well, the bee can still do harm. I mean, it kills itself, obviously.
Only
on
in
its way, but let's
defense.
not...
Only in
Ben,
defense.
Ben,
Only-
Ben.
yes,
Okay, here's a
sure.
good analogy, okay? You are a bee. I'm a wasp. I'm angry for no fucking reason.
Yes.
You're not.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's the difference. That's the
Wasps are fucking furious at all times. Yeah,
Exactly.
Wasps are
yeah.
utter cunts.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
Absolutely.
are the flying demons.
They are, yeah. Bees literally keep this planet going, by the way. Don't forget that. So, yeah, we have
Yeah,
to,
no,
protect
I've
the
heard that.
bees. Protect the bees. This guy, to be fair, this
heard
game
of
actually
this.
is quite charming. Yeah, I think you kind of said it best, Kirk. The sort of the Pokemon vibes.
Yeah.
And I'm not not going to pretend that any one of us are going to buy this. Okay?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
let's not beat around the bush
Like you
here.
said, charming. It's got
Yeah.
it's going to have a market. It's going to have a market.
It's the wrong platform, personally. I think it should
It's a
be a
Switch
PC or a Switch game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But
Yeah,
But
I
there we go.
didn't
It's
even think
Xbox.
about that. Is the fact it is on the home console. I mean, I guess you could stream it using.
yeah, you could stream it to your
use
Steam
your
Deck
game
and
serve.
stuff, or your Backbone or something. But
yeah. Okay. Moving on. I do sound like Eddie, don't I? The Bookwalker, Thief of Tales, coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox Ones, June 22nd. Oh, I did actually not tell you when Apico comes out. That is also June 22nd. Sorry, lads. So, The Bookwalker is a narrative adventure in which you play as a teen quist. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
You sold
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, just for the listeners, it's spelled Etien.
No one cares, Kurt. It's fine.
Yeah, but they might write in.
No.
Etienne.
Etienne.
Etienne Quest. Yeah. A writer turned thief with the ability to dive into books. Use your powers to journey between reality and book worlds and steal legendary items like Thor's hammer and Excalibur to restore your ability to write. So this is a isometric style game. It's actually got really nice visuals. Quite good actually. I don't know what engine it's running in, but I just thought, this game looks quite pretty. And you basically do as the blurb suggests. You dive into books, of which they show you a visual. And from the two trailers that I watched, I will actually be damned if I fucking have a clue what's going on and how you actually play the game. So, yeah.
Thought it looked good in the CGI trailer.
The first trailer was CGI when he kind of rises up from the platform and then dives backwards out of the window after daggers are thrown. Yeah.
I mean, Yeah.
There is a gameplay trailer as well.
Yeah, which is kind of that isometric type thing.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
it's almost isometric. Yeah.
Definitely isometric.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like,
Any thoughts, Don?
Nothing at all, mate.
Okay.
Nothing at all. Yeah,
Let's move on to something.
Let's
move on to something else that sounds a bit more. I don't know about this one actually.
Well, to be fair, I don't. Go on and read it out.
Dr. Fetus's Mean Meat Machine.
Superb. It also happens to be my girlfriend's nickname for me in the bedroom.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Ba-dum-bum.
Yes.
Right.
Wonder if I could cut that out.
Yeah, I think you should.
Hell no. Hell no.
In fact, maybe just put that mwah, mwah, mwah noise in there, Ben.
Been literally waiting 46 minutes and 50 seconds to lay that one on you. Fucking hell.
That's what she said. Right, so this is coming to PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and the Switch, June 22nd. So help Dr. Fetus create the perfect Meat Boy clone in a unique new twist on the tile matching puzzle genre. In classic Meat Boy fashion, an endless cavalcade. Yeah, there we go. I did get it. Just had to let my brain catch up. Cavalcade of devious and deadly traps stand between you and victory in this hardcore puzzle game that will push your skills to the limit. So this is Dr. Mario in 2023 with better graphics and gore.
Yeah.
I assume this is a sequel to Super Meat Boy or something.
I didn't do that much research, mate, if I'm being honest.
Brilliant.
Yeah. You're going to throw me under the bus like that, okay? What do you want?
I think it is for anyone.
All right.
But yeah,
Cool.
fine.
Yeah.
Move us on.
So this, I think this is the smallest game of the week, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, small game coming.
Was it Final Fantasy 16? Yes, coming to PS5 only. June 22nd.
It must be good. There were fucking 15 of them before.
Yeah. Problem is, you need to play all 15 to get what's going on, so it's a tough one, isn't it? You know,
it's tough.
Small market share, this one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That is true.
I cannot wait till you read this blurb out, by the way.
Go on, you've got to give it vim and vigour, Kurt.
Time to get comfy, boys. Time to get comfy.
Here we go.
This is from the website because I couldn't find anything else. So, for centuries, people have flocked into her mother crystals to partake of their blessing, the abundant ether that fuels the magics that rely upon their everyday lives. As the ether begins to fade and the lifeless deadlands spread even ever further, fucked it. So too does the struggle of possession of the final flickers of Mother's light grow ever more fierce. Yet, amidst the gathering storm, there are those who believe that the legacy of the crystals has shaped mankind's destiny for long enough. So,
I love
how you went full film intro.
Yeah. and even kept fucked it in that voice as well. You know, nice.
I stay in character, baby. I stay in character.
And that blurb has explained nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That is the top level paragraph from the Final Fantasy 16 website.
Amazing.
So,
right. Okay. Well, that, as you said, that's out on Thursday. Is that on
Thursday, yeah.
We've played the demo. It's in our what we've been playing, so Donnie and I'll take that one there. But
lovely. All right.
Yeah.
Small game.
Small game.
Next, Harmony, The Fall of Reverie? No, Reverie.
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
Did we?
Oh, for fuck's
Kurt,
sake.
You were on the fucking podcast.
Oh, fuck knows.
Right, move us on.
Yeah, move us on. Right. It's not my fault. This is Pete. He did that on purpose, didn't he, the little snake? Right, 6 days in... Fallujah.
Come on, Kurt, be better. No, you're not.
If you remember correctly, Ben, you said if this goes 100% well, I'll be furious. You're getting what you want.
I know.
So don't be angry with me.
There's some basics. Come on.
Okay, right.
Let's go, buddy.
6 Days in Fallujah is a realistic first-person tactical shooter based on the true stories of Marines, soldiers, and Iraqi civilians during the toughest urban battle since 1968. So this is a FPS. Looks actually okay graphically. Seems quite tactical, as the the kind of blurb would suggest. What I didn't like from what I was seeing, though, is it's supposed to be realistic. Yeah, I saw a guy get shot and he just walked it off.
I read that earlier and I laughed, Kurt. I laughed at that. Well done.
It's just, if you're going to say it's realistic, it needs to be, come on.
You're fucking right.
Yeah.
You're right. Never call your first-person shooter realistic.
No.
Like, do that.
He just got straight up fucking pinned right in the shoulder and I'm just going to crack on, mate.
What this video that I watched of this does is it takes actual, they might be actors, but they make out like it's actual soldiers or whatever, like telling the story of what happened. Right. And then it kind of acting out. I don't know if that's in the game. That might just be for the trailers. So I kind of wish that is in the game, that the that you do a mission that would then be talked through by people actually there or something
That'd be
like
good.
that. But that would be good. I'm not saying that that is this game, but
Yeah, just a wish list sort of thing.
it's what they kind of make out in a way. But
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Right. Next, C Smash VRS, which is coming to PSVR 2 June 23rd. There was no blurb for this anywhere that I could find, but I did do a little bit of research, and it's a Dreamcast revival game. So because of the lack of blurb, it's basically a VR Pong game, the way that I found it. And you can do silly little dances with your avatar. It's got high adrenaline techno music, and you get blood pumping whilst you're in this VR setting. There is a demo if you want to give it a go, and it costs $21.99. So
I think I saw the PlayStation trailer for this, and when I saw it was $21.99, I was like, "Fucking hell, $21.99!" And then I saw it, and then it cuts as they just serve like with the Pong, and I was like, "Fucking right, so I would play this." I'd be fucking all in on that if I had a PSVR 2. It looked good to me.
I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, graphically, it's one of those. How do you describe it? It's almost like what was that game on?
Or like quick.
Yeah.
And
And also, it gives me kind of like Res vibes as well, like that wireframey style of design.
Very minimalist and
Yeah.
stuff. It's I liked it though.
But I mean, £22 for a VR game ain't too bad.
I suppose. Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? So
I assume that you would be able to play against other people and stuff, and
yes,
I just think VR they've not got the market for it.
No, there is. When I was the trailer that I saw, there's definitely other people there. There was some the character that you are viewing the eyes through. Was waving at a couple of other characters, which I'm guessing were real people.
I suppose just hope that there's 3 or 4 people across the world who might be interested.
who might drop the £22.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, next. A Little to the Left Cupboards and Drawers DLC coming to PC and Switch June 27th. It's DLC for the game. Cool. There was no blurb or anything. In fact, the Steam blurb said you need the a little to the left game to play this. That was it.
Yeah, not cool.
No.
Shit game, no fans.
Right, moving on. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed Single Player Edition coming to PS4 and Xbox One on June 27th. Crypto is back with a license to probe. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
That wasn't in the blurb, by the way. That was me. The Alien Invader returns groovier than ever. Experience the swinging 60s in all its chemically induced glory and take revenge on the KGB for blowing up your mothership. You'll have to form alliances with members of the very species you came to enslave. So this is basically the Xbox One and PS4 release of the game. I don't know if anybody was really asking for it, but apparently they were, and here it is.
You played this, Donnie?
No, it's not my. I wasn't interested. I didn't enjoy Destroy All Humans originally. Craig, he loved it, but that was it. Yeah,
there's something on Game Pass for this, isn't there? I'm sure there's or is it the remaster of the first one or something like that on Game Pass?
ones? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure there's something on Game Pass for Destroy All Humans.
I think
Never
you're right.
interested in them.
Nah, not really for me. Right, this next one.
Oh yes, here we go. Now we're cooking on gas, Kurt. Let's go.
Never getting the real AAA stuff.
Yeah. So, Little Friends, Puppy Island, coming to PC and Switch, June 27th. Discover exciting locations, dig up hidden treasures, build and expand your holiday resort, and meet plenty of lovable little friends to care for on your very own unforgettable tropical island adventure.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic. Wins the blurb of the day.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. I watched the trailer for this and I was like, Jesus, this is hard to watch. So you're basically looking after dogs in a virtual world. What I didn't like is they put quite a bit of emphasis on the fact you can dress up the dogs, and I don't understand why people dress up their dogs. Don't fucking do it. They don't need to be dressed, and they don't want to be dressed. Maybe the way I view this is maybe like a more modern Nintendogs kind of game.
Yes, I view it like that as well. I assume you found this very hard to watch because you really wanted to play it and you didn't have it, and then it made you furious and all that kind of stuff.
But let's go with that.
On the dog dressing issue, I've got a 4-kilo dog.
Yes.
Kirk. It's very small. It gets very cold in the winter, and I have to pop a jumper on it.
Correct.
You don't have
my
to.
My dog loves his jumper at the winter time. Fucking loves it.
So, Kirk, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
You two need to shut
We're
the
not.
fuck
We're
up
not.
and
We're
leave your
not. We're
dogs
not
alone.
dressing. We're not dressing our dogs up in fucking tutu outfits and parading them. It's cold in the winter. We're keeping our
people
dogs
do that.
warm.
Okay,
That's
fine.
listen.
Put a
Those
festive
those
jumper on.
weirdos are but it's necessity. It's cold.
Absolutely.
Right.
Gotta look,
Pretty
gotta
chill.
look
And
after your
this,
pooch.
this game looks wonderful. It's bloody There's gotta look after the pooch. This game looks wonderful. I'm glad you brought it to our attention, Kirk.
Fuck you.
Day one, baby.
Next, Solvars. That's what I'm going with. Solvars. PC, coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series, consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, and Switch, June 27th. Get ready to ignite your Solvars in a pixel art turn-based deck building RPG inspired by classic JRPGs.
Oh my god!
You went full Japanese on that one.
He did that. Yeah, he went right to the casual racism line there, didn't you?
Wow.
I did
That
not
was-
mean to do that.
That
Jeez,
was
that's
specialist.
now you're cancelled.
No, you didn't mean to do it. That was just inbuilt into you. That's okay.
That's
Right,
yeah,
fine.
okay,
Cancellation,
right,
isn't it?
thank you. So,
Just who you are.
okay, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that again. Yeah, cool. With a modern twist, that's where I'm going from. Unravel a dark conspiracy as your party of soul bearers faces off against invading dominators in dynamic, action-packed battles. So this game is so far outside of my knowledge and realm of anything. Basically, I'm not going to say anything on it because it would be rude for me to.
Donnie, what are your thoughts on this? Did you check this one out?
Yeah, there's even though it does tick a lot of boxes for me, this is not for me at all. I know.
thought it would be, you know.
No, I actually thought with you with it being deck building, I thought
Yes.
but
Yes.
no, it's not.
I like the look of it. I really did.
Yeah,
I like the
yeah,
art
yeah.
style. It's got deck building. It's turn-based RPG.
Yeah. No, it's not for me. But I'm.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's a bit like Persona. I'm not into the whole
Yes.
awkward teenage thing, and it's like no, that's the thing for me. I'm just like nah, and that.
So this had a very Soul Hackers vibe to me,
okay.
which is obviously made by Atlas and
Yeah.
very Persona-ish.
Yes.
But yeah, it had like a Soul Hackers vibe in a pixelated form. Like I don't know. I thought it was all right. Thought it looked pretty good.
Okay, well, there we go. And finally, Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Notice that there's no last generation consoles there, but it's coming to the Switch.
Thank
Interesting.
God.
Yeah,
Because the Switch is a current gen console. Kirk.
Hey.
okay. Right, June 27th this comes out. Put down roots on your new farm in the peaceful town of Forgotten Valley. Bring life to the land by cultivating crops and raising animals. Find love among the town's friendly folk and make lasting memories with a family of your very own. So this game, you have a lot of character customization. You literally grow crops and care for animals on a farm, which is essentially your base. You can fish and interact with the community. Seems like you can actually fall in love, have a family, get old, and die there in the old Forgotten Valley. So living out your virtual life as you see fit.
It's Harvest Moon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. Yeah.
Well,
Animal
it
Crossing
is-
has a lot to answer for, doesn't it?
But this is Harvest Moon. It's they lost the rights to the name, didn't they? And they've
Oh, it
called
actually
Story
is
of
Harvest
Seasons.
Moon.
Yeah, no, I wasn't being this looks like this is Harvest Moon as
Okay.
far as I'm aware.
All right. Yeah, I think you're probably right on that, because now that you've said that, the character style definitely is Harvest Moon. So yeah. All right.
Visually, I
we
think
had
it
that
looks
thing-
great, but
Yeah, no, we had that thing about 6 months ago where it was like 1 million farming sims were due to come out. This was one of them, wasn't it?
yeah, but it's just it's all that. It's just all that Animal Crossing kind of. It's just all. It's we've got so many games off the back of that now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of leaving everything behind. It's like, fuck, how many of these games do we need? I think I actually like a farming sim game. I used to play fucking Farmville on my phone all the time. But like, there's just so many.
Well, what was interesting about Animal Crossing was that there wasn't fucking farming.
Yeah.
But Animal Crossing was almost, and don't get me wrong, I loved it. I spent like 100 hours in that game.
Wow.
And through COVID or whatever, it was absolutely what a lot of people needed. But it is one of the shittest versions of that type of game.
Is that right?
Yeah, like there's so many. A lot of these games are deeper and have a lot more to them. Animal Crossing is relatively surface value. Like it's just what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
It's not too much more to it. But yeah, I love these types of games. If I had the time and commitment to put something in, I'd actually really enjoy it.
Same.
It's like that Disney. What was it? The
Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah,
which is actually really good, by the
amazing.
way. It's actually really good.
People say it's amazing.
It actually is. But when do we have the time to play this? You know?
But not when we're spending 100 hours in 2
You need
weeks
another
on another
lockdown,
game.
don't you?
Yeah, we do, yeah, I know.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
So many jokes, so little time there, Kirk. We should just...
Chuck us a lockdown. Will you?
I would just like to point out, though, Ben, you just said you spent like over 100 hours in this during lockdown. You've spent over 100 hours in Diablo, and it's been out 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yes,
so
correct.
That's scary. That like when
it is. Kirk, I've said to Donnie, I've said to other people, I am not proud of that. It's just what my Xbox tells me.
That is a scary figure.
There is no pride in that, and actually, at times, I've felt
cheap and dirty,
ill and taken over by it because whenever I'm doing nothing, I'm just sat on the sofa watching some TV. I just play it. I think, well, why am I not playing that? I should be grinding on that. So
okay,
it's not a good thing.
I just wanted to point it out just to let everybody know what kind of a heathen you are. Shall I pick up this last bit as well with the PlayStation Extra? Yeah,
please do. It's your section.
Cool. All right, just making sure. Also, Ben has put in the doc. There are some highlights from the announced PlayStation Extra and Premier tiers.
It's not
premium
games.
Premium, buddy.
Premium. That's thank you. This is why I have people to correct me because I get everything wrong. So PlayStation Extra and Premium tier games for June. We have Inscription. We have Far Cry 6 and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Well, there's about 25 games. It's just that
these are highlights.
I just saw those three. You know.
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty good. You played Inscription, Donnie?
No. I was more excited by the fact that Shredder's Revenge, because I got everything apart from one trophy on the Xbox or achievement. Superb game, and
really good. Yeah,
don't sleep on Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 is really, really good. Do not sleep on it, especially now. No choice, it's free. It's good. It's really good.
Inscription is also excellent, and when you think it's done, it's not done.
Oh,
it's far from done. No. Well, there is actually a mode at the end, which is like a continuous type thing that they've introduced. But that game, you think like you've done the main thing, and then it's like, no.
Oh.
It's a very, very cool game.
Here's your end game dungeon.
Yes.
So I need to do in true Eddie form. I need to pick a game of the week, don't I?
Yeah. Here we go, Coke. Now, just remember, there's a pressure on this because we've not found the individual. But there will be somebody out there who will be hanging on your every word now and be like, right, here we go. I have to buy the game every week. And now Kirk, and they've left it down to you. We've put it down to you this week.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
You should feel ashamed of yourselves.
Pressure is on.
I'm going to say... I'm not going to say Final Fantasy because it doesn't need any more help. I'm going to say Dr. Fetus's Mean Meat Machine.
Nice, my schlong.
Because
nice
okay, Donnie, it's not your schlong. And if it's called Dr. Fetus's, that's something wrong. You need to go and see a doctor, mate. I think that was probably it. Just mainly because it seemed like an easy pick up and play kind of game. It looks a bit fun.
If it is a sequel to Super Meat Boy, because they've capitalized Meat Boy, I assume it will be anything other than pick up and play, and it'll be fucking horrendously difficult.
Well, maybe that one person that goes and buys the game based on my recommendation can write in and tell us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would fucking love it one day if someone does actually go and buy them all and comes back to us and say, I've done what you guys said.
Yeah. And he's keeping a record, a little spreadsheet, and he updates it every week. Fucking assholes.
He puts a score in.
Yeah.
They put a score in and then they send it in.
I would love the fact he's got a fucking spreadsheet.
Yeah. I would. I'd ask for the formatting and they can send it over with your own. Yeah, there we go. Right, on to what we've been playing then. And I think... we don't want to be a Diablo 4 podcast every week, but because Donnie's on, and Donnie, that's what you've been playing.
Yes.
Please give us your opinions on Diablo 4 so far.
You could make a Diablo 4 podcast, given how much we play it, but, we could go down.
You play the game.
Yeah, so I've not got as many hours as you, although I'm kind of at a similar level in terms of where we are. Albeit you're a couple of levels ahead of me, but we fucking love it. I fucking love it. I feel like I spoke about it all weekend as well. I can't believe obviously how much it's kind of gripped me. We kind of, you and me are kind of at the same point where we're in this sort of tier 3 grind where it's end game. It's getting harder to grind, which I do see some of the complaints, because we're at that point where we're probably not good enough to make that step up, because it is recommended level 70. But we want to, because we want to get more XP, we want to get more loot, we want to get more dopamine and get that hit, and we can't just yet. But I think pretty soon we can probably be there. Be interesting to see. Obviously, they are making these adjustments to the EXP with Nightmare Dungeons. I think, is that coming in Season 2? Did they say they're making those changes?
I think they've made those changes to give more XP. I think they've already changed those. And they've nerfed the standard dungeons.
Okay, because I saw something related to Season 2 as well. They'll be patching something in for that, which I think is going to change things as well. Yeah, they've made
a number of things to Season 2. So I've started a hardcore character as well, and one of the things that I'm scared of is the disconnect. So the hardcore character, for the people that don't know, is 2 modes to Diablo. You've got softcore, hardcore. Softcore being you just play the game, and if you die, then just go back to checkpoint. There's no real disadvantage to dying in Diablo. You just come back and go again. In hardcore, you die, you're out. It's over. And your character's deleted. Goes to the fallen heroes and that's it. And there is a totally different dimension to that, and I have enjoyed like the ride so far on the hardcore stuff.
I'm not brave enough to try it yet, but I am a total Diablo newbie. So I think you will. I think we'll enjoy it there, because I think what I'm kind of thinking, because Pete's got Diablo now as well. Yes.
And he started it, and I think he's also interested. I would be quite interested for us to run like a hardcore characters and as a multiplayer and see where we get to and that type of stuff. It's just it's got a new dimension to it. I think you'd really enjoy it. Yeah. But let's but we're continuing leveling our mains and go from there.
Certainly want to get a few seasons through my belt as well. So I'm interested to see how all that's going to work and interested because we're not. And I suppose in a way to see how this seasonal content's going to be, how good it's going to be, what they're going to do about renown in the areas, which anyone listening who's not played it's basically your reward for clearing areas, you gain renown. So the more things you do, the more renown you earn, you therefore get rewarded points, skills, etc. for doing it. Well, that's going to get reset to a certain point each season to give you more things to do. You're not just running around the same old areas, which I do get. But again, I saw some complaints about that, saying, you're just undoing my progress. Well, they are, but they're going to give you more points for just doing what you're doing anyway. You're already in that area clearing dungeons and strongholds. You might as well get more points for it. So I'm struggling to see. I think people like to just pick holes in everything, don't they?
Yes, before they've seen it as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah, interesting to see how the battle pass. Because I do like a battle pass. You said that as well, Ben. You like a battle pass. Love one. Interesting to see how that's going to work. Because at the point now where me and yourself, we'll clear a dungeon, and we might pick up, say, 30 new bits of equipment, and all 30 of them are fucking useless.
Yeah, so I was saying, we played our stream the other night, didn't we? Yeah. And so across 6 hours, I did not get one item that I then equipped to improve my gear. So 6 hours gameplay, I went up 1.5 levels or 1 3/4 levels, maybe, and no gear.
No gear.
That's just the RNG grind. That's just how it works. You're high enough level that all of your stuff is fairly meaningful, and it's hard to make big jumps.
But at the same time, you could also say that the equipment you've got on is tailored very well to your build. So the chances of getting anything better, it's just going to be maybe a higher damage output, but then you then won't get the same buffs. And then the buffs mean more than what they. So it's not always looked at as a negative. I'm kind of looking at it as, well, I've obviously got good stuff on. I'm obviously doing something right that I can't seem to get anything better without a bit of luck.
Yes.
So there is a positive there, but I would still like to get a little bit more. Oh, that's exactly the same as what I've got with an extra 2%, 3%, 5%. Yay, But the chances of that are so slim. That's just what looters are about.
Yes, it is. I do think. So one, I'd say that this, from my experience and from what people are saying on I listen to a Diablo 4 podcast as well. They say it's the most complete Blizzard game at launch that they're aware of. Like it's one of the best put together. Now these games change so much during this. I mean, look at Diablo 3. It was 10 years old. The player base was just as high at the end, if not substantially higher than at the start.
Wow.
People go away and they come back. People play Diablo all the way through. I've played Diablo for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's you just keep coming back. The grind. So up to level 50, the progression, and the story mode, and for most people out there buying this game and wanting to enjoy a great campaign with side stuff and dungeons, absolutely superb.
Yeah.
Between that level 50 to 70, so once you hit 50, the XP gets harder to get. Once you hit 60, it gets even worse.
Yeah.
And it progresses like that. Now, there's difficulty levels within this, and we're in the 3rd difficulty level. There's a 4th one as well. We're trying to get that, but you have to meet some prerequisites in terms of dungeons and stuff. Because we're on the cusp of that tier 4, and we can fight tier 4 characters, it's just that the bosses are fucking difficult, and it's hard to do the one to get into tier 4. The grind, man. I think they need to do something about it, because just at where you are now is the point where it's like, if I wasn't so all in, I'd probably be calling it a day.
Yes.
Like it's
Okay.
The leveling is slow at this point. The RNG drops are tough, and it is just like until you get to that final tier, so that everything gets bigger, like your gear gets better, blah blah blah. You're capped out, really.
Yeah.
I've got pretty much the best possible stuff I can get at this point, and I'm still finding it very hard to beat the boss to get to the next level. Yeah. So I don't know. There's something,
and to kind of put it into context, Kirk, as well, is that there's 100 levels, and when you hit level 85. So, so it's effectively 85% of the levels, funnily enough, but that's 50% of the XP. So it's insane.
It slows down. Like, you have to get so much more XP to get to the end. And
that does sound a bit,
But the thing is, see if the gameplay loop wasn't so fun and you weren't enjoying it, playing with people, it does help. It does help, but
playing with people is fantastic in this game. Like it really is a new way to play Diablo. Like it was never that easy in the older ones, and I always played it single player. But the solo grind now just feels really tough, because when we play together, like the leveling up is a quicker process. I mean, it's not fucking quick, is it? It's not fucking quick, but it's quicker at least. And I think most of this game I seem to have done alone, and it definitely has added 20 hours.
Yeah.
It's just... It's...
to your 100-hour streak.
Yes, yeah. But, but good game. Really, really good. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's still, for me, it's still been the best game so far this year. Obviously, a lot of big hitters, one of which we'll speak about a demo in a minute. But this is where it's funny, Ben, because, you mentioned it there, like, if you weren't enjoying it so much, you maybe would have tapped out if you weren't invested. In a couple of days' time, Final Fantasy 16 drops. Now, I'm at that point where it's like, well, I was always day one on this game. It's knowing what to do here. Do I want to drop it? And I obviously can go back to it any time. I was adamant I wasn't getting Final Fantasy 16. I was adamant I was going to delay it even a couple of weeks while I'm still playing Diablo, but I now don't know what to do, because I really want Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, well, the fact that... Sorry, the dog's barking. The fact that you, as a Final Fantasy, like that's your series.
Yes.
Like you're all about Final Fantasy. The fact that you're even thinking you might day one because you might not have the time to do it. I think Diablo should be treated as almost like that one that you always play, always in the background.
Yes.
But she really is going for it. But you can have. I'll just deal with her. What's it?
The power of editing.
Well, I mean, he probably won't edit this, so this is just going to be a nice little chat between me and you, mate.
Yeah. I might not edit it, but yeah, I like Final Fantasy. You can still be playing that, but I don't know. But Final Fantasy might be one that you put so much time into that you get fully immersed and you have to play it. That's the only thing you want to play when you're playing that, I suppose.
I think because these stories tend to be so deep and so rich, it's very hard to not get invested. and very hard not to just play it. Like, don't get me wrong, what I mean by that is, just say, for example, I do pick up 16 and I am playing it and loving it. If you message me and say, Donnie, do you want to jump on Diablo tonight for 4 hours? There's no reason for me to go, no, Ben, I can only play this. But so there is that, but these games are so deep, and you should feel immersed in the world because they write such good stories and they put so much time and effort into characters and the finesse and the music. And that is what makes them. It's not always about the combat and things. It should be this sort of beautiful story and journey, I guess you could say, as cheesy as that is.
Look, I think you've got to get used to having Diablo as a background game. I think you've got to get used to it because Diablo's not going to be going away.
No,
so,
I've said that the Diablo 4 will be a forever game for me, and that I will always want to play season, just like guys do with Destiny. I know a few guys are all in on Destiny. They play every season, they get every expansion, but they can still play their normal games in between, which is great. I know there's some guys that only play Destiny, and that's fine, but certainly I am going to have to get used to the fact that, because the thing is that obviously I got the Ultimate Edition, so I get a season, and I think it's one season I got included with that. So
yeah, I think it's one season.
Yeah, so I've got that included anyway. So it's not as if I'm going anywhere soon, but I know that when I'm not playing it, I'm going to want to be playing it, but I'm going to have to get used to the fact that no, need to spread your time around, Donnie.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about Final Fantasy 16 then. So we both played the demo. Kirk, you're getting something special done to your PlayStation controller, right? So
yes, I am.
You couldn't play the demo.
Touch it. Couldn't play the demo, unfortunately. But I have seen it's been flooding my timeline on Twitter with everyone going, "This is fucking amazing! Can't wait to get the game." Not long now, because it isn't long now, is it? It's Thursday.
No. Thursday,
yeah, you're right though. It has been flooding the Twitter timeline, hasn't it? Like,
it has.
People have been loving this demo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there was a graph earlier that showed the pre-orders have shot up like a rocket in the last 72 hours, haven't they? So
yes, I saw that, and we talked about that in the news a couple of weeks ago, that there was supposedly a theory that Square Enix were worried about the pre-order numbers, and well, look what's happened. I mean, the demo has done them the world of good. Yeah. It would seem. I mean, you said to me that you knew a couple of people that had pre-ordered it since playing the demo that wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah,
so that's probably the best compliment that I can give the demo, or certainly give the game and what they're trying to build, is that we've got two guys in our Discord, Callum who listens in, and our guy Chris, and previously these two guys wouldn't have touched Final Fantasy with a barge pole. I don't believe any of them have played any Final Fantasy games before. Certainly don't do turn-based, although Final Fantasy has not been turn-based for a while, that's in our BMI bonnet, but that's fine. And those two guys played the demo and immediately pre-ordered it. And if that's you cannot give it a bigger compliment than that, because like I said, those guys would not have touched this game. I cannot stress that enough.
So that's
impressive.
a compliment.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I mean, so I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy. I have played the Final Fantasy VII remake,
which is great. Yep.
But Final Fantasy has never really been my thing.
Yeah.
But I played this demo and played that through to completion. Overall, I thought the demo was superb. It's an hour and a half long. I would say 50 to 60% of this are cutscenes.
Yes.
So
that's
not going to go at that.
Territory, that is.
It's a start of a game, and it's a start of a JRPG, and I probably would expect very little else. But yeah, so 50-60% cutscenes. I honestly got a bit of motion sickness at the start. The camera shake was fucking wild, and I was like, oh god, this is quite tough to actually watch. But when it actually settled into itself, I know there's been a lot of discussion about frame rates and stuff like that, and you, Donnie, you told me that it was an early build, so there was a lot of talk about the frame rate mode, the performance mode being a bit crappy on I didn't notice. Honestly, I didn't notice it. I thought the frame rate was absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, I noticed it immediately that it was dropping, but I couldn't help but laugh at the the last 9 days I've heard frame rates don't matter, and now suddenly they matter again. Funny that. But no, the frame rate wasn't great. It was. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't terrible by any means, but it was there.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice anything. I'm usually relatively sensitive to stuff, but I didn't notice the frame rate bad. I did notice that on the quality mode, you couldn't turn off like the motion blur, so that's why I went to the performance, because I was like, fuck,
get that shit off anyway. Yeah, that shit goes right off.
I can't. Yeah, but I couldn't find an option to turn off, so I was like, okay, right, fine. I've got to have the old performance mode.
Yeah.
But there will be a day one patch or patch before which will improve that, I've heard.
Yes.
But also the game is playable without it.
Yeah.
So that, for game conservationists, that is important.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah, couple of thoughts on it. I thought the bosses were very damage spongy.
That's the norm, though. Like the bosses, you always need to earn in Final Fantasy games. You should always be utilizing all your sort of different skills and things. And obviously, with this being the sort of first Final Fantasy that's you're just controlling one character, nothing else. So it's, if you think back to sort of older Final Fantasy games, you might have had 3 or 4 characters that are all taking turns or all providing combat and maybe using different skills or different techniques and abilities, whereas this is just you now, which is very different, very new. So, but they've not changed the fact that, no, listen, you still need to earn a boss. It's not just there's no one-shotting here, and that's never changed, and that's the way it should really be. Especially now, obviously, that they're making it more active, and that's, you need to obviously have your wits about you, especially with dodging and parrying and things. Again, all pretty new.
I thought in this demo, obviously you're very early on, so it doesn't really count. But you're against quite simple. You're never in any danger. It's and the bosses that you put against, you're never against it. It's just they're fucking damage spongy.
Yeah.
You're not earning shit. Like it's just I'm doing the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah.
But I think as you develop through the game, you get more skills and stuff. I think that would be a bit different. So that's fair enough. The action combat I thought was fairly decent. I thought it flowed really well. Thought it was quite Devil May Cry in a way.
I know.
I didn't mind it though. What do you think?
It's so tough because everyone keeps fucking going, oh well, you can't say it's not Final Fantasy. I'm like, I can fucking say that if I want to say that, right? Do you know what I mean? If I want to say that, I'll say that. I did enjoy the combat. It's just, I just wish, and I know it'll never happen, I just wish there was 2 modes or something, that I could still get the real mode and not this Devil May Fantasy that we've got. But it was good. It was very sleek. How they've got the button mapping is very good and makes the combat simple but effective. What I would say is I did try, they've got a little battle mode, which is like down the line, just to let you have a little taster with more skills and abilities, but it just kind of drops you in it, and it tells you, listen, this is later on in the game, so spoilers possibly, blah, blah, blah. And when you then got effectively like 3 levels of skills, I was a bit overwhelmed, going, holy shit. I felt as though then I was just kind of button mashing, but that's because it's dropping you in it. In reality, you'll get a slow burn, you'll have 1 set of skills, and then you'll have 2 you can use, and that'll be 3, and you'll get used to it. The muscle memory will kick in, but when you was just dropped into it, I was like, what do all these skills even do? So
you will, yeah.
It was tough, but I know that will obviously become more natural as you play it and you grind it properly.
But that slow burn that you speak of, I mean, I want to say JRPGs have an issue. Like, pacing is fucking atrocious. Oof. Like, it's just these games, and this one was a really good version of it. Like, but I was sat there and I was playing this, and my girlfriend was watching or whatever, and I was like, I can't do this to myself to fucking play a game like this. Like, it's like when you go, and games in general need to get rid of this. Like, when you're being taught the combat, and it's like, you press square to do whatever. Mm-hmm. You can do a 4-thing combo. Now do that. And do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Now, triangle, that does your magic. Okay, now do that. Now parry, do that. And why don't you just come up with a thing on the screen that has, in 4 boxes, these 4 things. Now beat the guy. It's just like, it's so fucking shit.
It's just video games, isn't it? That's what they all do.
Yeah, but we need to change this. But JRPGs are the worst for it, because it's like, not only is it like, do this thing, it's like, the guy will go like, haha, now it's time to show me. Yeah, I know it's time to show you. We're here. We're right. And it said, just shut up. And then it'll be like, you bested me this time. How about we not? And he's like, no, just shut the fuck up. It's just like, and even with the cutscenes, it's like,
Ben's confused by tutorials, people. Ben's confused by what tutorials are.
No, I'm not confused. I'm not confused. I just want to just let me do it, and get it done. And then it's like when you got the cutscenes, every cutscene's 20% too long. Like there'll be a thing where they're walking round the side of the cart. Like there's a thing that happens and something goes down, and it's like, yeah, but just have the shot start 3 seconds earlier. It's like, why is everything so slow and drawn out? And the people like saying things like with gaps between sentences, and it's like with other JRPGs where you just get like a character will say something, nothing will happen, then they'll go, what? Like it's like that attitude where it's like and it happens in all these fucking games, and you're like, mate, just fucking sort it out. Nobody in the world thinks that this is the right pacing. Surely that's not okay.
Well, it clearly is if they keep doing it, you know?
They are. There's the 16th one is coming out, which means there's been 15 before, so...
Yeah.
You know.
But what I would say is this was a better version of that type of stuff than I've seen before.
Yeah.
Stop fucking complaining then.
I know. He's been a bit harsh.
But I am complaining because, you've got a huge game and it still does it. And it's just like, well, it's going to be a 100-hour game, but how about 80? How about make it 80?
Right, well, we all know that you have no problem. You have no problem.
Donnie, that's not world building taking 5 more steps around a cart. Like it's just
it's realism.
It ain't world building.
It is. It's the immersion, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Storytelling.
Well, how come
storytelling, Kirk? Yeah.
Every other game that isn't an JRPG doesn't do that.
Ben, if the game's going to be 100 hours long, shouldn't matter to you. You're a fucking pro at doing
Correct.
that. Okay. Secondly,
sure, I could do that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Secondly, I've never played any Final Fantasy game before, but I do understand that there is a certain type of lore to them and a certain level of storytelling that needs to be told, and people love that kind of stuff.
That isn't what I'm telling you. That isn't what I'm talking about.
No, but you are saying shave off 3 seconds so that I don't have to watch so much of a cutscene. Like people like to watch stuff. So
I'm just saying snappy. I just want a bit of snap to it. I think everything's just a bit.
I think what's happened personally is that we had a very positive show last week, and you've got a lot of pent up energy, and you're taking it out this week to really live up to the Grumpy Gamer name.
No, I don't think so. I think what happened was I played a demo, and I sat there with somebody else, and we were talking about this as we were going through it, going, "Oh God."
Because both of you agreed, that means that it must be fact. Is that right?
No, that doesn't mean that. Okay, I'm just saying it's not, because JRPGs do this throughout. But you know what I'm talking about, Kirk, and I think you'd probably be one of the first people to say it.
Fucking come on, just shave 3 seconds off the fucking video.
I think you'd shave 20 hours off the game.
Well, have a word with the developers and see if they can do that. All right.
That's just what I'm saying.
Might be a bit too late.
But overall, the thing that it wanted you to invest in was the story, and it did do that.
Yeah,
it succeeds in that story, didn't it?
Yes, I mean it's a long intro because of the cutscenes, like you say, because there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of story to tell. I get that, and because they're making your progression carry over, they kind of had to start, like, you think about Forspoken, when that had a demo, it just dropped you in randomly, and people complained about that. It's like, well, what do these buttons do? What does this do?
Definitely, yeah.
And so I think they've done the right thing, but with that comes the negative that, there's a lot of story here, and, you probably actually only played in half of the demo was probably controller down watching. Maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think 50-60% was.
Yeah, but that's again because it's doing the intro. That's just the way it's got to be. It's just you just have to kind of accept that.
Do you also think? Sorry, I may have totally. I may be talking out of line here, but do you not think that maybe it's there for people that may not have played before?
I don't think so. Played Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, because you say I don't think so, Ben, but if I was going to jump in, like, I probably would just play the latest one just to be on.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think you need to have played any.
No,
it's just
they're not in any way
all
linked. I was just
independent.
being facetious when I said that. They're not in any way linked.
I don't mean that. I mean the element, like the whole tutorial side of things. Like if I've never played it, like so what if it's the way that it is, and just let it be, let it be. And if a newbie comes in, great.
Well, yeah, I think even newbies and players of old always need to have some sort of intro to know, well, what's going on? What's that game actually about? And they need some sort of intro, especially with a whole new combat. As in, here's your little basic tutorial, which Ben loves. I think no matter what, you're going to get that. If this game was, just say it was turn based like it should be, you'd have got the exact same intro.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have changed because you'd have got a very basic turn based intro as well.
Yeah.
On how to use cures and how to use this and how to switch this, and you'd have got exactly the same, just a different format.
I wouldn't have a go at the cutscenes part because I'm sure once this prologue is out the way and you get kind of into the game, it's going to be expansive. You're just going to be able to do whatever you want and go wherever, and like it'll be very open at times. I'm sure it's only when you hit story beats that this type of thing will happen. You'd assume, right?
Yes, the cutscenes will be as long. They'll just be less frequent. And I'm not sure how much freedom you have, because the one thing I noticed in the demo is you couldn't traverse from between areas. The areas have got traversal.
You selected it. Yeah,
you had to basically select where to go. I don't love that, I must admit. A lot of games have been going down that route. To be fair, they've been taking out that walking from A to B. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to handle that. But if they make the areas expansive, then it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You're still walking through the area, just not to the area, I guess.
Oh, it's so funny when you do one boss in like this kind of swamp area, and then your characters all start walking off, and my girlfriend was just like, "Where the fuck they're walking to?" I was like, "To that tree."
Yeah,
they're walking to that solid tree and the vines, but there's nowhere to go. Yeah, it just cuts to black. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
That is a bit those kind of things in games, and they even do it in like movies and stuff, don't they? It's just a little bit weird. Like someone didn't think about where the direction they need to go before they cut to black. Like,
but it's good, and it looks really good, doesn't it? It looks really good.
God, it is.
It's in that art. It's in that art style, which is like not realistic, but it's on the realistic
side of it. Yes.
Side of cartoony.
Yes.
Not cartoony is the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And so they get away with a lot. Like everyone looks the same age.
Yes.
No matter whether you're 14 years old or you're 50.
Even your mum looks really. I was confused. Like, is it a stepmom? I was confused. The mum's like really young.
Stepmom? Yeah. I said the same thing. I was like, is that your mum? Yeah. Because it clearly looks like your sister.
Yeah.
So
which, to be fair, given the time scale, it could be. You know.
Yeah. I know, but I thought the same. And then your actual sister, like, well, but you're only supposed to be like 15. How? Yeah. What? Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand.
They've very much gone down. They're trying to make a Final Fantasy Game of Thrones.
Yes,
and I believe it's kind of heavily inspired
influenced.
Influenced. And you can see that. You can see where there's a lot of Game of Thrones. There's a lot of probably a lot of a real history hidden behind it as well. To be fair, so yeah, I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, I was very interested in the game afterwards. I thought it definitely I could see myself playing it, but I'd have to dedicate a lot of time to it, and I don't know if I could take the pacing. But I'd be really interested to see what reviews say. If your reviews come out and they're fucking monstrous, then
I'd be shocked if it's less than an 88. Pretty much every Final Fantasy game, bar 15, is all in the early 90s. Pretty much, for them, all the major ones, I would say, they're all very early 90s. Your 7s, your 10s, your 9s.
What did 15 get?
I can't remember. I'll go and check it just now while we're on.
Oh, cool.
I didn't play 15, so I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, you didn't play 15?
Nope. Jesus Christ, that was even less than a Final Fantasy game than 16 is.
Well, yeah, that was the first time they went full action, right? Yeah, okay.
This is good podcasting material.
81, see? There you go.
Really? Yeah. That was low. Okay, well, there we go. Yep. But, okay, so Donnie says 88. Let's see where it lands.
At the minimum, I mean, I think it could be higher, but I don't think it'll be less than 88.
I was going to throw a wild card guess out there and say 91.
Yeah, I think early 90s are realistic.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I'll go 93 to not be a cunt and just go one more than you, Kurt.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could do that easily, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could, but I didn't want to be that guy. Yeah. Right. Anyway, let's move us on because those are the two that we've really played. Let's talk about the feature, which we're going to talk about. PlayStation exclusive games that surprised us. So just a couple of each, couple good ones, bad ones, and stuff like that. So because we have some PlayStation guys here.
Woo!
So let's.
You're
let's
clearly
so
going. We've been called Xbots a lot recently. Let's try and balance the scales with Donnie on.
Absolutely. Donnie's got a PlayStation podcast, which we'll plug right at the end. So yeah, we've got to take advantage of this. Right, okay. Kirk, do you want to start us off with a good PlayStation exclusive that shocked you, surprised you?
Well, I'm going to go with Last of Us Part 2 first, because I'm just utterly in love with the game. Because, as you well know, played it for the first time this year.
Yeah. Late in the day.
Yeah, late in the day.
Especially when your mate is Neil Druckmann.
I know, right? Also,
fucking embarrassing.
let's not forget that. Also, just a little side note: Last of Us Part 2 turned free today, or 2 days ago if you're listening today. So yeah, I'd gone through the Part 1 story, which I enjoyed, but Part 2 just for me elevated it beyond belief. And knowing what you say about it, knowing what the internet says about it, there's so much controversy around what happened in the game, and just the way that the rug was pulled out from underneath everybody. And just I saw more hate than I saw good overall. Mm-hmm. But I'm now seeing a shift personally and online to there is more good than hate, in my opinion. But I fully am on board with what the decisions were for this game. So yeah, I'm not going to say all the various bits and bobs. I know we've spoiled stuff in the past. I just don't want to do it right now. But point being, it's one of my top 5 games of all time. And if they bring out a PS5 director's cut or something in the near future, I'll quite happily go through it again in a heartbeat, to be honest with you, because there would have been loads of stuff I missed the first time round. So I couldn't wait to complete it, but not. It was
amazing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I was so hooked on it. I just needed to play so I could find out what happened. And what made that even better was the gameplay was just fucking phenomenal. So it didn't feel like a chore that I had to go through. And the day that I completed it was on a Sunday. Me and my roommate was watching me the entire time. We were there for like 6 or 7 hours, just in a row, just playing the game. And like, I can't remember the last time I was actually able to do that, like to the point where I didn't care about anything else other than playing the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely up there, and I'm so happy that it's something that I'm not missing out on anymore, because I don't want to say it changed my life, but I want to say that it's definitely made me value video games in an even more special way. So,
I mean, fair play to you for feeling so strongly on it, given the fact that it's 3 years old and we've had 3 years of excellent games come out. You know, if you'd said that on launch, you go, great. But for you to play it now and to still feel that way, fair play. You know, that's a sign of how good this game is.
I think Last of Us 2 is the best narrative game of all time that I've played. Without a shadow of a doubt as well. Like, I wanted Kirk to play this so badly once you got your PS5. It was like, please play this game, because I think Kirk would feel similarly to me with it. And yeah, I was exactly like you, Kirk. I played it. I think within 5 days I completed it, because I just absolutely adored it. I couldn't wait to play it through to completion. It was just. Yeah, it was absolutely unbelievable. If there's one game series that I would recommend, if money was no object and people could buy what they wanted and they get a PS5, I'd say Last of Us Part 1 remake and Last of Us 2. That's your starting entry to narrative-driven games.
Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a little confession here, right? I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but when the game came out, my friend. He bought the game. Me and him went half or something, because I was playing something else at the time. He goes, well, I'll get it. I'll complete it in, a week. So we just went halfers on it, and then just shared the game, a physical copy. And of course, we all know the spoilers. We all know the big event that happens. Of course, that got leaked all obviously online, and everyone was talking about it. Holy shit! So of course, when the game came in, I was like, God, can you believe? Billy goes, he went, what? I goes, what do you mean? And he goes, what are you talking about? I goes, have you not seen this rumor? He goes, no. I'm like, awkward.
I didn't know.
What? Did you miss it?
I didn't know. I avoided everything. I avoided everything.
I totally spoiled it. I felt terrible.
On that, like
Day one.
I knew
Day one.
I mean, that is pretty awful.
Sorry,
That's
bruv.
pretty awful.
Sorry, bruv.
I knew about what happened,
Of course.
but I didn't. Everything else surrounding it, like how it happened, and literally the rest of the game, I had no idea. So I didn't know about the rug under being taken away from me moment was going to come. So all of that I was able to experience for the first time, and I think the main reason is because at that time, up until I got my PS5, really, I didn't really care about what PlayStation were doing because I was just busy in life anyway, and anytime I played, I was just playing on the Xbox, so I didn't really think about looking over the fence. And then when it became time to actually look that way, I was like, right, I need to make a conscious effort now not to look into things. And then obviously certain things got spoiled like that, but to be able to experience the majority of it properly for the first time was quite special.
Great.
Right, okay, so that was a big one to start us on because it was, we both love that game, Kurt, so probably quite obvious. Donnie, give us a positive surprise.
Yeah, Days Gone, which I didn't play at launch. It came out in 2019. I didn't play it at launch. Not for any negative reason. I was just bored of zombies. You know, the zombie genre has just been fucking milked beyond belief post Walking Dead. So I just thought, you know what, I can't be arsed with it. I played it with the PS5 patch, and you know what? It is such a good game. And now listen, I get it. I get it. At the time when it launched, it was buggy. All that's all ironed out now. Fine. So I do understand where the negative flat came in. But now as a complete game, it's so good. And if you don't mind open world Ubisoft formula, it is very, very good. The world is really well designed. It looks great. It performs perfectly. The characters got a bit of flack for being this kind of like grifters. They're actually, again, they're decent characters. I really enjoyed Days Gone. I think people are a bit snobby on it. I think probably the word to use. But don't be, play it. It's on PS Plus if you're on PS Plus. If not, you probably pick it up for a $5 in CEX. Play it and enjoy it. It's so good.
CD keys, cheap as chips.
Yeah.
Like CD keys, cheap as chips. You can get it on PC as well for about $5.
Yeah. Don't sleep on any kind of early day negativity. It is a really good game.
Yeah, so weird. Like the Metacritic at launch was like fucking 68.
Yeah,
or
71
something.
or something. Yeah. Just because it was buggy though, it didn't perform well. It got rushed out in the end because the development time was so long on it. They just fucking threw it out there.
So unlike Sony, but if somebody gave you that game now, and I've played it since, somebody gave you that game now, and somebody showed you that Metacritic, you'd be like, "Are you fucking joking?"
Yep.
So I've got a copy of it, and it is one to play at some point. My next main series to play after I played Ratchet and Clank is Horizon, but I do want to give Days Gone. And just going to your point that you said about being bored of zombies, that's exactly where I was earlier this year after playing, like, after having The Last of Us back to back, part 1 and part 2, playing Resident Evil 4 remake, and you just get fatigued from certain things, don't you?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I'd love to. It is one I want to do, and there's no zombie games on the horizon for me for the foreseeable future. So hopefully I can pick that up before end of the year.
State of Decay 3 is not going to come out, so
yeah. But Horizon is on your horizon.
Yes, that is a terrible pun I've just done.
Yeah, that was a bit of a swing and a miss there, but yeah.
Edit that out.
Right, I've gone for Detroit Become Human. Now, this game, a lot of people call shit. I thought it was brilliant. I actually really like David Cage games. Kind of like a guilty pleasure, really. I like the facial animations of this game, how it looked at the time. It was like, it looked absolutely amazing for the time. Like, I was so invested in the individual stories. I had my favorite characters in the game. I got killed because of my mistake, and it was like, you'll see it as your story, and that is like, it's a special kind of tragedy when that happens. It's kind of like why I'm doing a hardcore character in Diablo, because it's the special kind of tragedy when you do something and it's like that was your journey in that particular instance. But I love Detroit Become Human. Did you play it, either of you?
Yeah, we played it as
I haven't.
Oh, sorry, Kirk. How do you go?
No, I was just saying I haven't. You crack on.
No, I was going to say, we played it as part of a community game on Pure Gaming on our Discord last year, and we did a spoiler cast about it as well. I thought it was really good. It's not normally my cup. I don't normally do these sort of games. That's why I'd never played it. And I was really impressed. All the people who hadn't played it before really enjoyed it. And you're right, it actually still looks really good today. It's aged very, very well.
Really good, right?
Yeah.
I am very much into these types of games. I've played like
Heavy Rain, was
like
probably one I've kind of
Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. Like, I like those kinds of games. I like the almost like the walking sim decision making games of all different types. I definitely went through a period, especially a couple of years ago, where that was pretty much my favorite type of game. And Detroit Become Human, very underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of people do call it shit, but it's you get a lot of good fun, and there's so many different outcomes.
Yes,
like really a lot of different outcomes to that game. It really is your story that you come out with. So anybody interested in like a walking sim decision, and it shows you the decision trees that have led to like where you've got to. Really good game.
Agreed.
So yeah. Anybody got something that has surprised you in a bad way?
Do you want me to go?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it, Craig.
Well, obviously, you know that I'm a bit of a Kojima stan, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I love Metal Gear Solid. Now, I haven't played Death Stranding.
Tread carefully.
I know.
But I have zero or next to zero interest of playing this. It just doesn't interest me in the slightest. And I know it's getting a sequel, and I've seen various gameplay trailers, and I've heard everyone rave about it when they play it, but I don't really care for it. That's weird to me, because I would have thought I'd be all over it, but there's no nothing clinching me to want to go and give it a go.
Wow. This really
I don't want
hurts
to do a walking sim.
This really
it's not a
hurts
walking
me.
sim. Like the people who call it a walking sim have no fucking idea what this game is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Change my mind.
I'm not sure. Death Stranding for me was actually for me helped a special time, like, because there was some like family kind of illness stuff going on the side. I used Death Stranding as something that I could just like throw myself into. It holds this amazing like place in kind of gaming for me. It was so immersive. Yeah. It looked spectacular. The music was amazing, but overarching with this had this storyline which, at times I did that, like his relative, especially towards the end, I'm like trying to follow it. It's quite. I had to look up online a fair bit to kind of make sure I was on the right, right, because Kojima does like to go a bit different directions.
Oh, yes.
but like it was. You are delivering packages, and so it makes it sound very walking to me, and you are literally walking, but there is an active gameplay element to this. There are active stories going on. The background to this game, like, it's so immersive. The storyline,
exactly it.
Like, and the connection you have with BB and like the thing that was with you and everything. Like, genuinely, like this game made me feel so into a game which I hadn't experienced.
Yep.
For so long before Donnie, what's your take?
I've said Death Stranding for me, it's probably still the best PS4 game I feel. You're right when you say the immersion. It's so hard to explain. You just feel so connected and so part of this game. Like, I remember, I've said this before, like I don't cry a lot, do you know what I mean? Not because I'm trying to say, oh, my big brave man, nothing like that, but there's a part of this game quite near the start when you're right, Ben, you said the music kicked in. I was like, oh my God, it got me in the feels. And I just started crying at a fucking video game, and it was literally just you walking with a body that you had to incinerate, and it, the world opened up, and then the music and this beautiful song. I was like, Holy shit.
How they time that music
is
just...
And by the way, see the whole walking, you walk for about the first 3 hours. Then you get trikes and you get vans, and then you get, when you unlock these zip lines, oh my god. See, do you know how many hours I spent building a zip line network? It was fucking so fun and so exhilarating building the zip lines around. And suddenly you can go from place to place to place. You're just like, this is fucking brilliant. Like building that
and all
network.
The other players,
yes,
they've built roads, haven't they, for you?
Well,
and suddenly it's this
roads.
Interconnected world. Like you built me that road, that I've then used, and it's like
I remember building this
game
zip line.
Opens up.
Yeah, I built this zip line, right, and I built it, and I knew I was in the mountains, and I spent ages getting this right, because when I made it, I could link to like 4 other bits of my zip lines to go to different bits, and I thought, this is perfect. Where I'm putting this now, it took me a while, it took me a long time to get it right, and see, within a few days, thousands of players had liked my zip line, obviously appeared in there, and I was like, wow, it felt so rewarding to see all these people go,
so
Donnie, thank you for the zip line, because this is great, because I don't know how many people's game, you don't know how many people's games it lands in, but it had thousands of likes within like 48 hours. I was like, fucking hell. And I knew I did a good one. It was just so much fun. Yeah, the walking simulator, literally, Kirk, it's a few hours. That's
so all right, so let me ask you a question then. Should I play this before I play Horizon?
I think because Horizon's 2 games, if you're interested in playing this, I would play this game. Like, I think this is an absolute masterpiece. I think Horizon is a good game.
Okay.
Careful.
And done.
To be fair, do you know what you could do is, rather than play, if you're planning on playing Horizon back to back, that's a lot. You could always use this to split it up, because it's a brilliant change of pace. Yeah. And it's it's still like, it is open world. I know it is. It is an open world game, for argument's sake. It is. You're not limited as such. But it's not got obviously like quest markers littered everywhere, and you can do as much or as little as you want in the game. Like, I wanted to get the platinum because I was loving the game so much, so I invested my time in going and delivering the packages. But see when you're trying to build up packages, right, and see when you're trying to like work out the strategy behind, well, I can take this and this and go here, and then I can go there, and it's just suddenly you get so invested in making the right decisions to maximize your orders, and suddenly it's like,
when you drop shit, you're like, Panic City.
God, it's so frustrating when you
it's gone down and you've dropped it in the river. It's dropping in the river. Oh my god, it's gone down the river. Yeah. Oh my god, how do I get that shit? Yeah.
When you're trying to traverse over mountains and you've got fucking packages, and it's like, and you start slipping, you're like, oh no, the fear kicks in.
No. It's like your real life holding it, and you go, no.
Don't do it.
So here's the thing though. So basically, like I said, I had no interest in it because I think what I needed to speak to people that know me and that I know, who can maybe just have a bit of back and forth rather than me just doing my own research on it. Just because I didn't have that level of interest. So maybe I will give it a go. I'll do Horizon Zero Dawn first, and then jump into this.
Thing is,
Fair play.
Because the PS5 version, which by the way looks stunning, like it's still one of the best looking games, because
Fantastic.
It's on PS Plus. If you happen to not like, as much as me and you, we won't speak again, we're done, right? At least, what have you lost? You've lost nothing.
To be fair, I've got the PS4 version already because I got the Steelbook, haven't I? So
brilliant. Yes, so you just upgrade it. Yeah, you can't go.
Yes, it's a £5 or £10 upgrade to get the director's cut version.
Yeah, and the director's cut is so damn good.
All right.
Nice, and I hope you enjoy it, man. And it's because it's Kojima-san. The story is fucking insane, but the characters are so. And like Troy Baker plays the bad guy, and he's fucking brilliant, man. Troy,
and I mean, they're making a second one.
Yeah, God love him. He's an arrogant tosser, but fuck me, he's so talented.
Oh yeah,
he's so damn talented. It's unreal.
Man is something else. Yeah, but there we go.
So, fair play.
Donnie, what's your
just listen, very very quickly. My nope when it comes to PS or PlayStation exclusives game is always Bloodborne. I don't get it. I tried. I don't have the patience. I'm not a big Souls fan, and Bloodborne. When I see people speak about Bloodborne, I'm just like, did I play a different game? Did I play the bootleg version? And the problem is I don't have much patience. and see. And it's not a lack of ability. It's a lack of patience. And I noped out at the first main boss. He killed me once. I went, right. He killed me again. I just went, nope. I'm done. So it's Bloodborne for me. I just don't get it.
I have never been a big Bloodborne fan. I've said this numerous times on the podcast, but I've tried to play it 3 times. I have played all the Souls games and Demon Souls. I've beaten them all, and Elden Ring, obviously. But it's like a style. I like those style of Souls games. I have played other Souls-likes, like Remnant and things like that, and I loved other ones. But there are certain Souls-likes which I just never totally got on board with. One of the things with Bloodborne that I didn't really like was effectively your weapon choice is your weapon choice for the game.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, and the stat limitations of improvements, like it's like Souls, but then light on that side of it.
Yeah.
And what I loved with Dark Souls and all of those, it's like your weapon is your choice and that type of thing. And it's I don't know, there's more. I found, but people love Bloodborne. They love the style. They love everything about it, and that's why I think Lies of P is getting a lot of good coverage, because there is no Bloodborne 2, and Lies of P is taking that kind of theme and kind of artistic style and license and gone with it. So yeah. I wish I was interested, but I am also not a Bloodborne fan.
Bloodborne will not be for me either. As you said, Donnie, I do not have the patience for it, and my time is so limited anyway. I'd rather spend it doing something I can actually enjoy.
Yeah,
so
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my one that I didn't really like, and I go into this won't go into this much. I've been over it. Is Miles Morales, because I really enjoyed the first Spider-Man. Talked about this many times. Many times. Loved the first Spider-Man. But Miles Morales, I think it's interesting because it's showing my own change in tastes of games, especially after doing this podcast. When we started doing this, I was very much narrative-driven games like this. Single-player games were definitely my thing. And it was of that era of Last of Us 2, God of War, Spider-Man. And they were the best games, in my opinion, of that generation and era.
Fantastic.
Now I feel like my tastes have changed, and I played Miles Morales on stream not too long ago. Very accomplished, graphically outstanding, technically excellent, but
not for you.
It just makes me sad that this is what people think is amazing. It's like, okay.
I mean, I will just echo what you have said there, but on the basis that I did pick it up. I've got it. And it was one of the games I picked up with my PS5 in December. Played about an hour of it, and I just didn't have the drive to do it anymore. I didn't want to play it because I have no urge to carry on. And as much as I've said it before, I'm sorry, I'm saying it again. 2018 Spider-Man was fucking phenomenal, and I platinumed it and everything. But Miles Morales has just not hooked me the same way that did.
It's because it's the same thing.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's that, because if that's the case, then why play any sequel? Especially when this is a very much a short, a much.
I am questioning that with Spider-Man 2.
I'm not going to, Donnie. I'm not playing it.
What?
I'm not playing Spider-Man 2.
Oh my fucking god!
I am on the fence.
Oh my fucking god!
Right, okay. Before we get into this,
I'm a celebrity getting out here.
to end on a positive, we've got any honourable mentions about other good things that people should play, like as surprises for PlayStation exclusives? Just quick.
Right. Yeah, well, Ragnarok, I fucking loved it. Whilst a little repetitive, the feeling from the gameplay, the storytelling, and just the hype around it in general, I fucking loved. And I did recently buy the collector's edition just because I loved it that much.
Nice.
So, brilliant.
Nice.
Well, that's just a reminder to anyone who hasn't played God of War. If you've got a PlayStation 5 and you haven't played the new 2 God of Wars, obviously very, very good games.
Yeah, very good games.
Yes.
Donnie, what's your?
My honourable mention is way back when Uncharted 2. Still one of my favourite games ever. Fucking adored it. It was a game that brought me back from Xbox being my mainline console to PlayStation at the sort of 360 PS3 generation. Absolutely adore that game, and I play it every couple of years.
Nice.
Do you? So do you think it still holds up?
Still holds up. I played it again last year because we were going to do a throwback episode. We just ran out of time with all the games last year, so I played it even as recently as last year, and it's still amazing. It's still so good.
I watched Abby play the trilogy the remastered trilogy.
Yes.
I didn't think they held up particularly well, but what I do like about the first two is obviously they're shorter, right? So
yeah, I mean, well,
that's nicer.
Three was actually shorter, but I think it's just because the story is so good and the characters. It's
it's 4 that went on for fucking ever.
4. I didn't mind that at all. To be fair, 'cause it was great. But yeah, just the story. I just love it. I love the characters as well. I love them all, and it's a game that holds up really well in my heart.
Fair enough. And my honourable mention is the best looking PS5 game, in my opinion, and that was a day one release on the PS5 of Demon's Souls. So the Demon's Souls remake is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You can tell the games that I love because I do it all in a weekend, basically. And I think from the day of buying it, I think I got it on the Friday or whatever, and by our podcast on the Monday, I had virtually completed the game.
Wow.
I think I was like 25 hours in, 30 hours in, or something like that, and I just rattled through. It's basically a fantastic introduction to Souls, a standard Souls game, so not like Elden Ring, which is also the newest, greatest introduction. But Demon's Souls the remake is probably an easier Souls game than the other ones. Not the original. The original, I think, felt a bit rock solid, but they changed the controls so they've it's a bit fluid and all that kind of stuff. It looks spectacular. I remember loading that up to start with, and I was just like, oh my god! And it's part of the reason why, because I got that and Miles Morales on release. Part of the reason why Miles Morales at the time didn't hold anything for me, because it was like, I've got fucking Demon's Souls here, like, and then everyone's banging on about Miles Morales. I just couldn't understand it.
Any excuse to slag off Miles. Fuck's sake.
No, there's no problem with Miles. No problem with Miles.
No, I like Miles.
Yeah,
I think Miles is a character
careful,
who's
lads.
quite
Big fan of
interesting.
Careful.
Miles. Into the Spider-Verse is a fucking fantastic film.
Yeah.
It fucking is. It
Just
fucking
don't
is.
don't like playing as Miles.
Well, no, I just don't like playing the same game again. But yeah, Demon's Souls, absolutely wonderful. If you haven't checked it out and you liked Elden Ring, and you got a PS5, do yourself a fucking favour.
I did, and noped out.
Great game. And that's not something that would interest you either, Donnie?
No, I did that. I did that very thing. I downloaded Demon's Souls a few months ago, and I got about 2 hours in and went, this is not for me. I'd only died once. It's not as if I wasn't getting on with it. Again, a bit like Elden Ring. I played it in easy mode. I went as a mage build, get the old easy mode. But I was like, I'm not even enjoying it. I was like, this is not. I'm just playing it because of the hype.
Yep.
That was all.
It can be tough to go back to the older type of Souls games if you're a big Elden Ring fan. Let's say Elden Ring was your first Souls game. Mm-hmm. The Souls games that I would recommend as a result would be Dark Souls Remastered, because that feels very much like you can go anywhere, and actually it's one continuous map.
Yeah.
Like it is a masterpiece in design. It's one continuous map. You can go anywhere, basically. And Demon's Souls, because it just looks... The remake, because it just looks absolutely fucking phenomenal, and it's outstanding. But it's harder to get into 2, and 3's good, but I'd recommend those 2. But, anyway, that's our feature. PlayStation focused. Everyone take note.
Whoop,
PlayStation focused.
Mark the diary. Mark your diaries, folks. It happened.
Well, Donnie, thank you for again coming on.
No problems.
Honorary Grumpy Gamer here, so we thank you very much.
No
What do you want to plug? And also, you've got your new podcast, which is PlayStation Focus. So
yes.
plug that one.
I'm part of Pure Dead Gaming, which is a podcast that Craig, Jess, and Andy do every Thursday. I'm part of that community, and I recently started a Pure Dead PlayStation, so it's sort of a spin-off from that. So it's a PlayStation focused podcast coming out every 2 weeks. We're about 3 episodes in now. It's early days, going well. Ben, you were on episode 1. Thank you very much for joining me on that. And yes, if you do happen to like our shit, you can get us there.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, catch those out. Check those out. Catch them and check them out. Something like that. And if you want to email us, it's podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk, and you can tweet us at grumpygamerspod. And we streamed last week on Pure Dead Gaming. I think streaming could be in order soon for Diablo, because it just gives a bit more purpose to playing Diablo.
Got to rack those hours up, haven't you?
Yeah, well, if you're gonna be playing for 7 hours during a casual Thursday, you might as well just pop it on stream. So that's the thinking. So who knows? That might pop up very, very soon. But until next week, I think it's GG.
GG.
GG.